Hey, good morning everybody. Thanks for tuning in to Conquer with the Hosses. It's winter time out, so I'm in here in the shop working on stuff, getting ready for spring. And that comes really quick, so got a lot of work to do preparing. You just want to get busy making money as soon as the weather permits. So you just want to be ready. As you saw in our videos, we do a lot of decorative work. And in our decorative steps, what the customers seem to like is our broken stone look. Emily's going to attach a couple of videos that we've done to this to show you what I'm talking about, the finished look. And how we accomplish that are these rubber molds. So you can buy these, and it's a little bit cheaper to make them, but not a whole lot. But what I like about making them is you get a different material. These bend okay, but they're not real flexible. So I use a product from Smooth On. They have different grades. I believe this is a VitaFlex 60, and the material is, excuse me, I was just sweeping in here, it's a little bit dusty. The material is real flexible. So on our steps, if we need to do a real tight radius, this allows us to do that. So that's why I like making them. And they start out 8 feet long. And over the seasons, you cut them to fit the needs of the project. Our most common step is a 4-foot step. So I'll make them 8 foot long, and as we need them, we cut them in half to 4 foot. And then as we need little bits and pieces, we have a nice selection, or of course we have to cut up the 4-footers to accomplish that. So I made a form around a brand new step liner and put the step liner in it, sprayed the step liner with the form release, and filled this cavity up with the polymer liquid. Put a board on top of it, let it harden. And then I flipped that all over. And now I have the negatives to our 7 1/4 inch, our 4 inch, and our 2 inch. 2 inches for the countertops, 4 inches is for a porch face, swimming pool face, and the 7 1/4, of course, for our bigger steps. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how I mix them up, cast them in here. And you can make them out of anything. I'll gather some stuff up and show you different things that I've made. Here's a sink mold that I made, and I built this from scratch. And of course it goes like this in a vanity sink. I made a foam box, did a melamine box around it to the shape I wanted, and poured it right through the drain hole. And this is a reusable mold that we can use time and time again and reproduce that sink. So I'm going to go ahead and get mixed up. We'll talk a little bit more about the different things, different applications, and so forth. Okay, so I just came up here to the front of the garage, a little bit more room to mix. This is where we make our countertops. Over the years of making those, I need about 5 inches of material to make a set of forms. So I just come in, grab a bucket, and I measure up 2.5 inches, put a line, and then 5 inches and put a line. These are equal parts that you want to mix. The A does not need pre-mixed. The B does. Before you use this portion, pre-mix that real good. And the key to this working really well is just a real good thorough mix. So we use a paddle bit. You can even feel it settling on the bottom a little bit right there. So just give it a real nice stir, paddle bit on a grill. Whenever you start mixing this, you can see like a white line in the bucket of the under material coming to the surface. So once you don't see that anymore, you're pretty good. So the B is the lighter material. So I like to put that in my mixing bucket first. And I just dump it up to my first black line. A little bit more. So in the bucket here, my bottom black line at 2.5, this is 5 inches. So now I'll go ahead and add the A material. Now this is a thicker material, so I like to pour it in on top of this. If you do it the other way, it's hard to get this mixed thoroughly out of the corners of the bucket. You can see how it's like molasses pouring in there. So just do a nice slow pour and bring that up to your second mark. Almost there. And stop your pour before you get to your mark. Just give it a minute to drip off. With this material being expensive, you just hate to waste it at all. One more little splash. Good. Okay. I always put the lids right back on the bucket right away. This really needs mixed good. A nice thorough mix. You can just see how it's changing the consistency of the material. So I give this a good 2 or 3 minute mix, and then I just let this sit here for a minute and drip off. I spun the bit above the material and sort of whipped it off. You really can't clean these very well when it's wet, so I just let it drip as best it can. Anything it touches, it's just so sticky you can't even wipe it off. So back over here, something that you just have to do, and I made the mistake one time. So what you want to do, and don't skimp on this part, use your smooth on your universal form release, and I always just keep plenty. These are 3 full cans and a partial. And you just really want to saturate this real good. If you miss a spot, it'll ruin the whole entire process. That stuff will not release, it sticks to everything. So spray it on there real well until you see it shiny, like real dull here, a little bit of shine right there. I'll bring the camera over in a second. And these things are always laying here, so they were dusty. I just swept them out. So you can just see how I'm putting it in there really heavy. If you miss a spot, it could, well, it'll ruin the mold and you could ruin your negative and you'd have to start over from scratch. So don't risk it. This stuff is cheap compared to replacing all that. Okay, I'll bring that material over and I make the 8s first. 4s, and then if I have enough, I do the 2. We have a real nice selection of 2-inch. If I get to that, great. If not, that's okay. I have a real nice little plastic squeegee that goes in a bucket, and you can really get all the material out. But I can't find it. Isn't that how it goes, huh? So you start at one end. And you just start pouring, and you just want to continue that flow right across the liner. You don't want to start at one end and then jump to the other. Just, hopefully you can see how I'm just letting it flow right across the whole entire length. Just a nice slow pour. Don't be in a hurry. No vibration needed. All right. So we'll let that harden up for about 24 hours. And I just like to make sure, you know, I got my corners high enough. Just give it a minute to level itself out. I built this steel table for our countertops, and I put it on casters, adjustable casters, so we can make this perfectly level both ways. And we never make countertops here anymore because they just don't fit. We do it over there, usually always on the floor. There's just not enough area. Looks like it's laying in there pretty good. Get a little high here, but it looks like it's settling pretty good. Trying to decide if I want to mix up another small batch and do a 4. I might as well do a 4. Why have everything out? All right, be right back. So since I'm filming, I went ahead and mixed up another batch. And we'll make the 4-inch as well as the 2-inch maybe. Yeah, I got enough. So I'll just show you how I pour it. And just keep that flow starting at the one end. And you see how I'm just letting it, I'm pouring on top of the material. Just letting it flow right across. Nice and slow, nice and easy. Just giving it that little ribbon effect, laying right in there. So there they are, a 7¼ inch step liner, a porch face liner 4-inch, and a countertop 2-inch. If I had to guess, probably $500 worth of step liner right there. And I probably have about 250 bucks in it in material, maybe not quite that much, but it's different material. It's more flexible. Wasn't hard to make. And here are some other things that I've made. I was talking about this sink mold. just thinking about different things. This goes against the kitchen sink to the countertop, and that gets you that drip tray. It's always hard to get it to slope towards the kitchen sink. So that's something I made, 1/2 inch to nothing. So that was kind of neat. Here's some other molds that I've made. This mold was really neat. We don't use it too often, but it has a real nice rope on it with almost like a crown mold look. You can see how dusty it is. It's been laying there forever. So I'll get a couple shots of what we use this in. But these are reusable molds, and you can just see how flexible that is. You know, you can really bend that, and it bends nice. It doesn't get all ripply at the top. How about this? My new bracket I made, magnet, so I can clip that on a machine or even a mixer chute and clip the camera right here. So that's a couple things that I've been working on over the years, doing these, making different molds, making sinks, having a lot of fun doing it. You can buy all this stuff, or you can try and make it. It's fun to try and make it. So we'll just let these set for 24 hours. Then I can peel them out, just set them on the countertop, and then remake them. I'll make about 6 of these this winter. I really don't need any more 4s, 2s. We have a lot of that, but we always come up short on the 8. So I like to make, 5 or 6 through the winter and have a nice supply of that. Any questions on mixing these up, where to get the material? I get mine from Smooth On. They're very helpful. I'm not real knowledgeable on the polymer end of it, so I ask them a ton of questions. And they're very helpful. They have a salesman that comes around. I just had a meeting with them a couple weeks ago, and we talked about some new products that they have. So I'm using up the Vitaflex 60, and we're going to try this new material we has, but it needs to be as flexible as this. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe I'll make another video on the new material. And if you have any tips for me on what I'm doing wrong here, but it seems to be working pretty good, so we're going with it. Okay, so this is the next day. I came down to peel these out and make a new set. So I just take a putty knife and real easily this peels right out of the mold. And I just lay them flat. It takes about 16 hours to cure. They've been in the mold for 24. Ready to use if I wanted, but again, I just like to leave them flat and get 100%. Just get it started with a little putty knife. Whenever I use the spray, these have never ever not worked. They always just come right out of the mold. So there's my 7 1/4, my 4, and my 2. So I'm going to go ahead and mix up another batch and do one more 8. I probably have enough material to get 2 or 3 more 8-inchers, and then I'll have a new shipment here by then. Let's get that whipped up and I'll pour one more. Okay, to wrap up this video, I just went online to a couple different companies and looked at pricing. This particular step liner goes for about $250. This one is about $180, and these went for $125 to $130. Definitely worth making. I have $150 in all of these. I didn't think I was saving that much money until I checked and saw how much these actually sell for now. So I think it's well done, time well spent. So I'll keep making these and get some more product coming, and you may want to too. Thanks for tuning in to Concrete with the Hosses. See you on the next one.
So this is how it would be in the mold. You can see a nice tight radius. Take it out of the mold and this just peels right away, leaving this impression in our concrete. So as you saw upstairs, we had a rounded corner. This one I kept square, so you can cut this on a 45 and peel it away. Same impression, only a square corner, not a radius. Radius, square, doesn't matter. And this is our broken stone application. Same exact method. Just peels right away, leaving that broken stone impression on the face.